Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Cynthia Cavalli, and I'd like to share some thoughts about synchronicity and how it can guide us through challenging life changes and transformations. Synchronicity is Carl Jung's theory of meaningful coincidence. He coined the term to describe a phenomenon he had long observed in the course of treating hundreds of patients. It involved their inner experiences, which were often matched or correlated in some way with experiences in outer reality. After many years of observation, reviewing related literature, and consulting with scientists and researchers across multiple disciplines, he realized that these correlations revealed a fundamental aspect of reality and how it operates. In other words, in addition to cause and effect, there was also this other meaningful way that events clustered together that could not be attributed to cause and effect. So, for our purposes, a synchronicity is when an inner event, such as a dream, a thought, an image, or premonition, is matched by an event in outer reality, where there is no way that one caused the other. Here's an example. A therapist I know was treating a client with relationship problems who never seemed to grasp how troubled his marriage was. In exasperation, the therapist finally exclaimed, "Your marriage is like a car wreck." As he said those words, there was a car accident right outside the office. The client was visibly shaken by this inexplicable coincidence, but the message finally got through. Now, the therapist saying car wreck didn't cause the car wreck, nor did the car wreck cause the therapist to say those words, but there was definitely a meaningful connection between them. This is an example of how synchronicities are acausal. They are also value neutral, meaning they can be good or bad, fortunate or unfortunate. And they are outside ego control, meaning that we cannot make synchronicities happen, and we cannot manipulate them with our will. So this idea that the universe is in service to us and will accommodate our every desire is not what synchronicity is about. Now, not all synchronicities have the kind of simultaneity found in the example I just shared, in the case of precognitive dreams, for example. Research indicates that synchronicities seem especially plentiful during times of major life changes and transformation. And during such times, they can also act as a guide that can lead us through the inevitable periods of uncertainty that are so necessary to creating new realities. As a result of Jung's observations with synchronicity, and also how psychological development happens across the life of many individuals, he concluded that our lives and what happens in them are not in fact random, the way science has long maintained. Instead, there appears to be a purpose and guiding influence that is unique to each of us and is concerned with achieving a whole, self-aware, and wholly conscious individual. This was a big surprise that came out of my own research in this area and from the experiences of my research participants, that life actually is not as random as I was taught in my science training, that there appears to be something like meaning and purpose that informs the world and our individual experience. Note that this is not quite the same as saying the universe has a plan for me, and some people take things too far, seeing their interpretation of meaningful connection in every coincidence. That is not what we're talking about. But the framework of development I described, and synchronicities more specifically, can be extremely helpful in navigating life's challenging passageways when we're stuck and every decision we might take seems wrong. And this is part of the work I do with my coaching clients. We work with dreams and experiences of synchronicity. We learn their symbolic meaning, and from that, gain insight into the direction of our wholeness as individuals and how to become what we were born into this life to become. If you would like to know more or would like to work with me, or if you have questions about anything I've said, please email me at cynthiacavalliconsulting@outlook.com. Thank you for listening.